Everyone, welcome to another Pit video. Today, they dropped a new update 1.0.1, titled Rage Pants. And that's because besides a few general updates, the Rage Pants is the main part of this update. So I'm just going to be going through the forum post, basically explaining everything as much as I can, and then giving my thoughts on it, and then we're going to actually go in-game and check out some of the new features. So starting off with the general updates, they buffed Singularity. Singularity is incredibly strong now with only 1 heart of damage per hit on tier 3. They nerfed Crit Funky incredibly. The damage reduction used to be minus 35 on tier 1 and 2 and minus 60 on tier 3. And now it's only 10, 20, and 30 respectively. So for Crit Funky 3, for example, instead of critical hits doing 40% of the damage they normally would, it's now only 70%. The extra damage boost you get from it hasn't changed. I think it's still, plus 30% or something on tier 3. So it's still really good in that aspect, but defense-wise, it's nearly half as good as it used to be. They also nerfed lifesteal by capping the health that you can get per hit at 1.5 hearts, which seems bad at first, but actually when you think about it, how much health do you really get per hit with lifesteal, even if you have a really good combination like lifesteal and Shark, lifesteal and Billionaire, something crazy like that. From asking around, apparently a lifesteal 3 Billionaire 3, which is pretty much the most damage you can do with lifesteal, or giving the most health, only gives people like 2 hearts per hit. So this really doesn't affect you that much unless you have, one of the best lifesteals in the game. It's really not that big of a change. A lot of people are really concerned about it, but I'm here to tell you that it really shouldn't affect you too much if you have a normal lifesteal. And Withercraft now costs 2 chunks of Vial per life revived instead of 1. This is a really huge change, obviously, because Withercraft and the price of Vial depends on the fact that Withercraft is 1 Vial per 1 life, and that impacts the price of Mystics in general. So on top of it just being more expensive to repair your items, it also means that things like Heart Rippers are not really worthwhile anymore, because you're almost losing money to actually activate the Heart Rippers and repair them. And the price of repairing other items like paparazzis, for example, which you would want to repair, or self-checks, which you would want to repair, is just not really worth it anymore with how expensive Withercraft is now. The simple difference of changing it from 1 to 2 chunks of Vial pretty much has a huge effect on the economy of the game in general. But now to the main part of this update, which is Rage Pants. Rage Pants are similar to Dark Pants in that they have unique enchants that are direct counters to different mystics. So obviously with Dark Pants you have Sammh on all of them, which just disables mystics, but Rage Pants have specific enchants that are like specific counters to different mystics. You need to have the Pure Rage Renown upgrade, and it unlocks at Prestige 9 and costs 35 Renown. Once you get it, you can create Rage Pants in the Heresy menu, just like you can with Darks, and I believe if you have Heresy 1, it costs 20 chunks of Vial to create 1 pair, and if you have the max level of Heresy, it'll go down to 17 chunks. Which, again, is super expensive. This, on top of the Withercraft change, just will make Vial way more expensive, and we'll have to see in the next few days or even weeks how the economy is just going to completely change based on Vial prices. And obviously price changes in things like Singularity and Crit Funky and Lifesteal. So it's pretty much with any Pit update, the economy changes a lot, but this is really going to have an impact mainly on Crit Funky, Singularity, and Vial. So when you tier 1 a pair of Rage Pants, it'll get a unique enchant that you obviously can't get on anything other than Rage Pants, and they have the list of those below. But then beyond tier 1, they function like regular mystics, which means you'll get, on tier 1, you'll always get one of these special enchants, like Hi-Ho for example, it shows right here. And then on tier 2 and 3, you'll either upgrade that enchant, or you'll get like other normal mystic enchants like Not Glad, Crit Funky, Cricket, Pebble, anything like that. So this will make for a lot of interesting new Mystic combinations, combining the unique Rage Pant enchants with other normal Mystic enchants, and I might go into that in a different video on different hypothetical combinations, but for now I'm just going to go over what they are. So down here, it has a list of them. Hi-Ho, which is showed off here, deals +3 damage against mirror wearers. So if someone's wearing mirrors and you can't do your true damage to them with Perun or Gamble or whatever, you can have Hi-Ho pants on and that'll make you do extra damage. Basically like a spade. New Deal makes you receive -8% damage overall, which is the equivalent of Prot 2. And Ammed, you are immune to Billionaire. This one's actually pretty crazy because obviously Billionaire is an incredibly good enchant for fighting other god set users, so if someone has a pair of New Deal pants, that's basically the equivalent of mirrors to true damage is New Deal to Billionaire. You just won't take the extra damage that Billionaire would take. And something I'd be really interested to see is how this affects, like, Bill lifesteals, for example. If you have Billionaire lifesteal and you hit someone with New Deal, you're obviously not going to do that extra damage with Billionaire, so is that going to cancel out the extra healing you would get for the lifesteal? Probably. And that's the type of thing that I'm talking about with different Mystic combinations, is like how these new enchants basically will interact with other existing Mystics. Do It Like the French deals +1.5 damage to players wearing golden helmets. This one I've actually thought about before, them adding a sort of enchant that makes you do extra damage to gold armor wearers, whether that's through bounty hunter pants or through golden crowns, obviously. But this one's a funny one because, you know, the French like to overthrow kings, the French Revolution, you know, stuff like that, so the fact that this is an enchant which makes you do extra damage to people wearing crowns, golden helmets, is pretty funny. This one shouldn't impact the game too much, it's just something extra to have when hunting. But I really don't see this being used too much, as the other rage enchants will probably be better for hunting. So this one's just kind of there if you want to do a little bit of extra damage against god set users, because I assume most people only wear golden helmets when they're in a god set of sorts. Anyway, next we have Combo Breaching Charge, which basically just every second strike, this is on tier 3, every second strike clears resistance from your target. So I assume the lower tiers are just like every third, every fourth strike. And I actually probably should go into the different tiers, hypothetically, of what they'd be. Hi-Ho would probably be 1, 2, and 3 damage. New Deal would probably always have the Billionaire immunity, but might have, like, less overall damage reduction. And then Do It Like the French would probably just have less extra damage. Anyway, yeah, this just clears the resistance effect from your target, so obviously if you're fighting someone who's streaking in middle and would have Dirty activated, or if you're fighting someone who's trying to hunt you using respawn resistance, this is a great way to just negate that and get rid of the resistance. Now this next one, like New Deal, I see being really useful in hunting. This one's called just Really Toxic, and basically strikes apply 1 stack of toxicity. Stacks lasts 30 seconds, and reduces all healing by 2% up to 40%. This is for tier 3, obviously. So basically, if you're wearing Really Toxic pants, the more you hit someone, the less healing they'll have, just overall. This includes natural health regeneration, lifesteal healing, healing from the actual regen potion effect, maybe even healing from things like soups or first aid eggs that give instant healing. I'm not sure about that one, but just overall, all healing is getting reduced the more you get hit by someone wearing Really Toxic pants. So this is another one I see being used a lot in hunting god set users. For example, you'd go in using Really Toxic once you've hit them close to 20 times, because once you hit them 20 times, that is the max stack. You could like hit them a bunch and then switch to your other hunting pants, and then for the rest of that fight, since stacks last 30 seconds, pretty much for the rest of that fight, for the next 30 seconds, they'll be taking a lot less regen. Now, this probably isn't the case, but I would love to see them update it so that it is that you could see the amount of toxicity you have and maybe a timer on the sidebar for it, like you do with Gladiator, or Strength Chaining, anything like that. Some sort of indication of this effect, because that's not the case either with things like Venom and Lifesteal, I guess, to an extent. It would just be cool to actually be able to see how much toxicity effect you have on you, how long it's lasting, and how much it's stacked, because just having to like keep track of that in the back of your mind, like, oh, this person is using really toxic on me, how many times have they hit me, and how long in between hits, like, I would just like to see a way in-game for that to be monitored. Now our next one is Sybil, which is very confusing in the wording. It just says you add 5 for enchant/perks which count players. Now, immediately, you're probably thinking, 5 what? 5 damage, 5 defense, 5... But it's just 5 people, basically. You act like 5 people, or your enchants can include up to 5 extra people. There's still a lot of speculation about how this actually works, and in the next few days we'll probably see someone make a pair of these and do a lot of testing with them to debunk any questions about it, so I'm not going to go into Sybil too much right now. I'll probably honestly make a separate video once there is information about how it works. But with different hypothetical situations of how this could work, it can end up being an incredibly strong pair of pants. Next we have the first rare, which is Regularity, and this is incredibly strong. I hope on lower tiers this increases it, or decreases it to like 50 and 25% damage, because this is just incredibly strong. Basically, it says if the final damage of your strike deals less than 1.5 hearts of damage, strike again in 0.1 seconds for 75% extra damage. So what it means by final damage is basically after all of the calculations of strength and any mystics you may have, extra melee damage you have, anything like that, once all of the final damage is calculated, if that ends up being less than 1.5 hearts, then your next strike, if you strike immediately after, will have 75% extra damage. This is insane. This is insane, because it means that pretty much if you're getting a combo on someone, every other hit is going to absolutely be shredding them. It is disgustingly overpowered. 75% extra damage if you strike again in 1/10 of a second, which really, like, maybe that seems like not that much time, but it really is enough. If you're clicking, like, obviously if you're clicking 10 CPS, then you're getting this extra 75% damage every other hit, as long as the hits in between those are doing 1.5 damage or less. So this is really ridiculous, I feel like. I mean, obviously it's a rare, and it's only the 75% on tier 3, I would hope. We'll have to see when pairs of Regularity 1 or 2 get created in game to see what those are like, but this is just, I don't know. It seems very strong. Anyway, lastly on this list, we have another rare, which is called Think of the People. On tier 3, people within 10 blocks of you are immune from Execution and Perun's Wrath. The people also receive minus 20% damage from attackers with those enchants. So this one, I don't really see being effective for you personally, unless your main goal is just trying to annoy someone who's streaking at middle. If anyone hops into middle wearing Think of the People pants, and someone else is streaking with Perun or Executioner, then their Perun or Executioner is just going to be disabled, basically, until that person that's wearing the Think of the People pants leaves middle or dies or whatever. And it'll also make their Perun and Exe swords just do less damage overall, which is really unfortunate. again, I don't see this being used practically at all, except just to annoy streakers, so any of you who are most people that like to streak in middle, just be aware of whenever someone hops into middle with these pants on. I don't know how long it's gonna take for pit pack makers, for example, to come out with a new update of a pit pack to include textures for things like Think of the People, Regularity, anything else on this list. But if you see someone with Think of the People pants, you might want to switch to something other than a Perun or Executioner. I see this turning Gamble into the main meta of God Swords, just because obviously that's a way to still do a ton of damage without using Exe or Perun. Unfortunately, this update forgot that Gamble and Hermit streaking is still a thing that needs to be patched, and so I feel like we're gonna see a lot more Gamble Hermit abusers. So that's fun. That's fun. Really wish I got my hands on a Gamble sword before this update. That would be great. And there's actually one more enchant that's not on this list, and I'll show it on screen right now. It's basically, I think it's called like Deal with the Devil, something like that. It basically just, whenever someone is outside of the pregame, so just anywhere in the pit, in any of the 4 quadrants or in mid or just anywhere that PvP can occur, right? If anyone's there wearing a pair of pants with the Deal with the Devil enchant on it, it just disables Devil Chicks for everyone else in that lobby. That's it. So the Devil Chicks were already pretty useless unless you had like Volley Chicks or something, right? So this just basically means that whenever someone is literally anywhere, they could be in the corner of the map just blocked off on their own. If they're wearing Deal with the Devil pants, then forget your Devil Chicks, it's not gonna work. I don't really know why they added that one and why they didn't include it in this list. That one seems just overall, it's similar to Think of the People, where it's just there to annoy Godset users. And the rest of these, right, are to counter Godset users, and so I guess that makes sense why that's there, but I don't know. That last one just seems pretty pointless to me. And that last one also is a rare, I believe. So we have 3 different rares: Regularity, Think of the People, and Deal with the Devil. And that's all. That's the entire update. So now I'm gonna hop in game, and pretty much this is my first time actually logging in since the update came out, so we're just gonna get my first experience with it, really. Alright, so if I open my Ender chest, I'm gonna have a lot of items updated, pretty much anything with Crit Funky or Solitude on it. Not Solitude, sorry, Singularity. There we go. Yeah, wow, and everything got undyed, sick. So yeah, Singularity 3, Lifesteal. What actually changed with Lifesteal? Does it actually say? Up to 1.5, okay. So that's not too bad. But yeah, you can see, for example, on these Crit Funky 3s, it says 70% of the damage instead of 40% is what it said before. And then Singularity over here hits you receive, deal at most 1 heart of damage, which is just insane. I'm so glad I have these. These are going to be so much fun to use, I feel like, just in general. But anyway, nothing to update here, no. Yeah, so I guess we're really just going to see how this update works. If I head over here to the Renown shop, I have enough to buy it. It's right here. Like I said, 35 Renown. Bought it. There we go. And now it says access in Heresy menu. So over here, I do have Heresy maxed, so it's only 17 chunks of vial, which I say only, it's kind of a lot, but I'm gonna make a pair just to show it off in this video, basically. So there we go. Create. Wow, that was loud. But there we go. We got fresh Rage Pants. Kept on Death. Blah blah blah. Also Furious Statement. That's funny because the other ones say Fashion Statement, Furious Statement. Anyway, let's enchant these and see what it gets. So the first one, 900. What is that compared to this? Oh, it's the same. Okay. So it costs the exact same price as Enchanting Fresh Pants, and I assume you do need to consume another one for tier 3, so I'll have to spend even more vial. But anyway, we'll enchant this, and again, on tier 1, it's going to get one of the new unique enchants, and then on tier 2 and 3, it's going to get normal mystic enchants. So here we go. Wow, and on my first pair, I got a rare. I got regularity. Okay, wow. There you go. Anyway, here, we'll tier 2 it, and hopefully I get regularity 3, because I feel like that's just going to be really strong, and we got regularity revitalized. Cool. So yeah, it does take another pair of rage pants. Yeah. So, you know what, just for the content, you're welcome for wasting over half a stack of vial on this, by the way. Hopefully I get something good, but there we go. There's another one. Super, super loud. I don't know if that's just my game sound being loud. No, it's completely fine. But here, we'll enchant another pair. Hopefully get another rare. That would be crazy. Think of the people. Wow, okay. That's crazy. And we got Think of the People 3. We got Molding Pair. Wow. That's that's crazy. Wow. Alright, I'm gonna create another pair. I'm wasting all of my vial pretty much, but again, I just, you know, I just wanna do this pretty much, and I don't have too much to create anyway. To repair, I mean. Here we go. Sybil. Okay, I do actually want to see how this works, so I'm going to hold on to this. Yeah, I just got Sybil XP bump. So I'm going to hold on to these, do some testing off camera, and come back with results, and then I'll end up tier 3ing any of them. So I don't want this video to go on too much longer, and I didn't want to split it into 2 parts either, so I'm just going to quickly recap what happened in the rest of this video. I hopped in a call with a couple friends, did some more enchanting, and also did some myth busting, and here's what we learned. Think of the people is basically like mirror for you and people around you, but also disables your Perun and Executioner. So if you're wearing Think of the People pants, you can't use Perun or Exe, but also regularity is basically like no-hit delay combo duels, if you've ever played those, and actually is bugged to where it doesn't give extra damage, but it's still fun to just like get those combos on people, and I'm showing a clip of that right now. We also found out that Sybil makes you count as 5 people, so that would basically buff Not Glad for people around you, or you if you had Not Glad on your Sybil pants too, but it's mainly as a direct counter to Solitude, because with Solitude you need 2 or less people around you for it to activate, so if someone's attacking you wearing Sybil and counting as 5 people, that makes Solitude not activate, obviously. And then I also tried using Singularity 3 and no armor, and it is exactly as good as it sounds. It's so ridiculous. I'm definitely gonna do a video streaking with only Singularity pants, which I actually was planning on doing for a while, but now with this update, it's gonna be extra insane. So definitely look forward to that. I'm really excited to play this update. And that's pretty much it. This update is a very controversial one. A lot of people really don't like it, and there's actually a petition to revert the update, and Minikloon said that if he sees a significant drop in player count, then by January he'll actually revert the update if there's enough support if there's enough support for reverting the update. So we'll have to see what happens. A lot of people really don't like it, but I think it's pretty cool. Again, let me know your thoughts on the update in the comments below. Let me know any hypothetical mystic combinations I could talk about with these new enchants. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful at all, please leave a like, subscribe, share it with a friend. I put a lot of time and effort into this video and getting it out the day of the update, so yeah, just as much support on it as possible would be fantastic. And yeah, that's really all. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.